tail, not nothing. They gonna show her that jersey number. This what you facing. This what we trying to get you for. She gonna start. Where's the cheese? I'm a rat. Where's the cheese? I'm telling you. What it do, YouTube? It's Ty Fetty with the Fetty. Back at y'all with another video, man. I know why we here. So I handle business, but before we handle that business, man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to say it again, bro. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to say it one more. Matter of fact, like, comment, subscribe. Before I got to beat you up, man. Y'all know what's going on. Look, y'all. June 10th. I said it. I gave y'all a proposition. Give me the 30,000 subs by the end of June. So July 1st. I got a giveaway for y'all. First place, $300. Second place, $200. Third place, $100. It's free bread, bro. Y'all support me, so I support y'all. Y'all know how this go. Give me the 30K before July 1st, and we a lot. With that being said, man, we got the murder of Edai and fall at 600. Y'all know we love the Chicago videos. If they born in the rack, they born with a ski and a switch. Bro, y'all know how that go. That's how they come out the womb, man. Let's get it. Let's tap in.
In a span of about 6 months, between 2011 and 2012, 600 lost 5 of their friends.
Good
Baldy,
Lord.
Ethang, Lil Steve, Jizzle, and Shaq. And from there, the losses would only stack up, whether it was central figures like L.A. Capone and Lil Boo losing their lives to the streets, or guys like Rondo, C-Day, and D-Rose losing theirs to the prison system. From newer guys on the block like Trix to OGs like Stello, members of 600 would lose their lives at a staggering rate in just the space of a few years. Then, the Get Back Gang era would see O-Block and 600 truly bringing war, death, and destruction to the streets of Chicago. And while this resulted in a string of their most high-profile enemies being taken out in just a year's time, this ultimately also led 600, and to a greater extent O-Block, losing many more of their own most prominent members to the grave or the legal system. And the spotlight that all of these events have put on many of the gangs in Chicago's South Side has made it very difficult for members to navigate the streets without the attention of the authorities. And in the years that followed, 600 would sadly continue to lose more prominent members, with only a few of the surviving faces, in many cases trying to move away from the streets and focus on other opportunities.
Bro, one day, bro, I swear to God, bro, I'm gonna be able to look at these niggas and be like, oh yeah, that's bro, that's bro, that's bro, that's bro, that's bro, that's bro. We still learning though. Y'all know how this go, man. Chicago got a never-ending hole of just niggas. Like, just call it what it is, bro. It's just, you discover one, come back the next day. His brother the same way. Come back the next day. They cousin who they op is the same way. I'm gonna get there though, bro. It's a never-ending rabbit hole though, because it's a lot of these niggas, bro. They spawn like fish. Like, they just come out of nowhere. They just pop up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them come out in 1 year. The next year, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like, shit crazy, bro.
And as a result of many members of 600's departure from the increasingly dangerous gang scene in the modern era, 600 has been described by some as an extinct gang. However, due to their long-standing beef, members from gangs like 051 would still diss 600 heavily to this day. However, 051 Preboy would explain on Twitter that 600 has barely any members left due to either prison or death. 051 Driller would share the same sentiment on his song Everything's Just Fine, where he raps, "We ain't gonna talk about 600, we expired them." Meanwhile, there's also many other 600 members who've been in prison serving long sentences while many of the events of this video have taken place. Mthang, who himself was locked up for years, would share a huge list in 2023 calling for 10 incarcerated friends to be released. When being a member of the gang is this perilous, perhaps it's not surprising that some members decided for a brief period to leave the streets behind and seek honest employment. Prominent member Edai would actually end up taking a legitimate job as a truck driver for a period of time, something that would shock many drill fans as he was one of the most hardened and high-profile members of 600 at one point, leading to many people online mocking Edai, with various memes circulating all about him being the most savage truck driver on the roads.
I mean, shit, man. I know how this go. Them streets don't feed your family, bro. A lot of niggas say they street niggas, bro. They get money, bro. They try to sell their little weed, sell whatever. Man, that shit's slow money. Like it's faster than working a job and having to wait for a check, but it's slow money, bro. You not reeing up off no pound and making $3,000-$4,000 profit, bro. You not doing that, bro. If you are, you capping. If you are, you getting a great deal. You better love your plug. Tell your plug you love him. Shit slow, bro. Niggas come to get a gram, eighth. Like, that shit slow, bro. And especially when niggas got kids, bro, and they still in the Section 8 where they water might cut off, they still got, man, that shit ain't nothing, bro. Niggas need jobs. That's what they figuring out. But it's hard to have a job when you beefing because niggas will sit on your job. We done seen it time and time again. So it's like they in a tricky position, bro. Because it's a risk having a job if you really in the streets beefing and really got ops. But then on the other side, it's like, nigga, if you don't work, you ain't gonna have no money because you ain't getting none in the streets, bro. Them little cars you stealing, selling for $600-700, they strikers, and 9 times out of 10 they not foreigns. So therefore, you feel me? Like, you're not getting none of that. Them little cars you breaking into, trying to steal valuables to sell, and you making $200. That's not taking you far. Like, yeah.
To the point
what you out there
other
for?
Members would post laughing about these memes. FBG Duck would publicly mock Edai's job in a back and forth on Twitter between the two. Edai would respond to the criticism himself, calling his haters lame for clowning him for getting a legitimate job. And other posts on Reddit would actually defend him, seeming to suggest that Edai was likely making significant amounts of money with this new career move. Edai even clarified in an interview that he actually owns the trucking company and he had plans to own as many as 100 trucks.
So I just recently started a trucking company.
Oh, straight up?
Yeah, so
you know, I did hear that.
Yeah,
for real?
Yeah, for sure.
I heard that's where the money at, too.
Yeah, that's
big money.
That's what the big, yeah. I'm trying to have 100.
Right.
600 Breezy also came to Edai's defense, stating that Edai had always gotten money, driven foreign cars, and makes a lot more money driving trucks than he ever did in the streets.
Hey, talking about get Edai out the truck in the foreign. Now, let me learn you something about my bro, because that's my bro, and that man been riding foreign since he was a teenager. The man drove for a truck company for one time and was still making more money than you. So, gonna be crack jokes and talking about truck driver K, that was making money. Period. While Shorty was little ass was still on the block broke. So truck driver get K that making $30 plus an hour.
Now, I think this was an important thing to mention, and I personally think in many ways what Edai was doing was actually something really positive, setting an example for other members that being a gangbanger isn't the be-all and end-all. There's no shame in doing an honest day's work and getting your life back on track. But unfortunately, this shift...
But what he don't understand, because he probably don't come from this environment, is there's no such thing as having an honest life after you've been in the streets dissing this nigga, dissing that nigga, dissing these niggas, shooting at these niggas. It's hard to kind of change your life, bro, because niggas don't forget that, bro. Them niggas that y'all smoking on, they got family members that if they see y'all, they might try to smoke y'all. It's hard, unless niggas just really just truce and just drop it, but you know that ain't happening. Like, it's hard, and that's why it's so hard, bro. Once you step in them streets, bro, it ain't no turning back. That's why a lot of people say that. You can't go back. You done diss this nigga. I remember that, bro. That was my uncle, bro. I looked up to him. I didn't have a father. That was my father. Now you smoking my uncle. When I see you, I'm gonna smoke you, bro, because I don't got nothing to live for. That's how a lot of these niggas think, and you can't blame them because they a product of their environment.
Of lifestyle was not adopted by all members, as in late 2020,
I'm just Ty Fetty, though.
A little over a month after the death of King Von, 600 member Just Blow caught a serious case that would quickly derail his budding music career. Just Blow had shown a lot of promise in his early life, achieving valedictorian status in high school, but ultimately he chose to pursue a life in the streets instead. Luckily, as time went on, Just Blow had seemingly gotten his life back on track, signing a record deal with Lil Durk's OTF collective, plotting a career as a rapper, and putting him in position to potentially be one of the few 600 members that actually escaped the streets through music. However, that dream would ultimately be put in jeopardy in December 2020, when Just Blow was arrested for a 2017 home invasion that went wrong, leaving one man dead and 3 others wounded. On October 31st, 2017, Just Blow, together with a member called On Sight from the 600 affiliated crew Nico Gang, along with a female member called Dice from the low-end base set OBN, they would allegedly try to rob a man in Hammond, Indiana, the same city where 600 Burger lost his life only a few months later in January 2018. According to court documents, Dice, real name Paradise Haynes, had tipped off 2 of the others, On Sight, aka Tyler, and Just Blow, aka Mitchell, after she had seen a man she knew holding $4,000 on Facebook, but the robbery didn't go as planned. The trio had allegedly gone into the man's apartment acting like they wanted to buy something to smoke, and at one point, Haynes and Tyler asked to use the restroom, while Just Blow allegedly received a gun they had seen in the apartment earlier. When he returned, the 2 others also pulled their guns, and the trio demanded to know the location of the money that Deese had seen on Facebook. Unfortunately, at some point, a fight ensued, and bullets began flying, and 19-year-old Khalil Carter was killed, along with 3 other victims who were shot at the scene, aged 18, 19, and 17. Dice and On Sight were charged in 2018, and Dice eventually entered into a plea deal, cooperating on the case and informing police of Just Blow's involvement.
Duh. Man, look, man, I don't know how niggas keep falling for, bro. Shawty, she's a female, bro. I don't care how street she is, how street her brothers is. She is a female, bro. They gonna crack. That's just how I go, bro. It's hard that you're not gonna find too many women that's in the streets that'll just stay solid, bro, and not tell, not nothing. They gonna show her that jersey number. This what you facing. This what we trying to get you for. She gonna start. Where's the cheese? I'm a rat. Where's the cheese? I'm telling you.
She would accuse Just Blow of being the one who fired the fatal shots that killed Carter, and he faced multiple charges, including murder, aggravated robbery, and criminal confinement. If convicted, he's facing between 45 and 65 years. Mimo600 would share his heartbreak on Facebook following Just Blow's arrest. In 2022, news would report that Just Blow, aka Mitchell, had actually pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of robbery resulting in serious bodily injury, and in 2023, reports would emerge that he had been sentenced to 18 years.
Damn.
This was a story that proved that the streets could still catch up with you years later when you were trying to do something positive. And unfortunately, Just Blow wasn't the only one, as Edai, having overcome the mockery of getting a legitimate job as a truck driver, would later find out that the streets would catch up with him too, ultimately taking his life. When Edai had seemingly distanced himself from the streets, becoming a truck driver with ambitions of building a company fleet to 100 trucks, on the side, he continued his rap career. Edai had been there front and center almost since the very beginning of the Chicago drill movement, even being part of one of the first drill beefs that was fought back and forth on tracks between him and the FBG rappers Duck and Billionaire Black. He was also the central character in some of the earliest songs that put 600 on the map, like 600 Part 1 and 2, Bail Out with Rondo, and his own solo tracks like War in 2014, as well as his later musical back and forth with 051 Driller, 600 Dead Opps. He remained active in music, posting numerous videos to his own YouTube channel from 2019 throughout 2020, and he was very active in July 2021, releasing back-to-back videos for his singles 3D Rose Freestyle and just 3 days later, the Matt Black Freestyle. Despite seemingly having distanced himself from the streets, Edai's music was still very much drill music and likely still made him a target for rival gangs. A user on Chiracology even made a long compilation of all the disses and threats towards Edai from 600's many ops. Now, releasing disrespectful songs like the track Tuka in the Trash Can obviously would infuriate his enemies and likely made him a lifetime target of his ops who he had been disrespecting so publicly. Unfortunately, Edai's enemies were still looking for him, and it would only be a matter of time before they caught up in his city. Early Sunday morning, on the 1st of August 2021, Edai was outside on the 3200 block of South Bennett Avenue, a 15-minute drive southeast from 600's neighborhood. While there, an unknown assailant would approach him, opening fire and shooting him multiple times in the chest. Edai would be rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he would unfortunately be pronounced dead. Alleged police reports of the incident would show that Edai had possibly saved a female friend by pushing her away from the line of fire before getting shot a total of 22 times. After this, suspects would drive away in a gold-colored Buick SUV, and soon after the killing, a wild conspiracy theory began to spread that the shooter was actually Tay Capone. Tay would later talk about this on his YouTube channel, even posting an alleged recording of police radio mentioning him as a suspect.
When he got killed, and I remember stories coming out.
Let's just stop right here before he even get into what the hell he got going on with his do-rag, bro. Come on, bro. For one, it's not even silk, bro. We all know if it ain't a silky, do not put it on your head. For two, why you got a damn bow in the front of your head with the do-rag strings, bro? That's the craziest way I ever seen anybody wear a do-rag, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That shit look crazy because that's the joint out the corner store. The nylon joint. The joint that joint nasty. That joint don't stretch. It don't pull. That joint stiff. And she see how he got a cone on the top of his head? That bitch don't. That bitch don't stretch at all.
Trying to say that I killed him. And people thought, like, I remember waking up to like 50 bloggers doing whole stories about how I killed Edai. What? I couldn't believe that was being said, but it was like I had got this recording of like some like the police on their thing talking about me, like, and mentioning my name, saying the witnesses said the shooter goes by the name, and they said my name.
But Tay would of course deny any allegations that he was involved in his friend's murder, but in the wake of the killing, intense speculation would swirl about who just might have been involved. Rapper Findy Boy would also talk about how he'd been under investigation related to the shooting due to a connection with the woman who was involved in the incident.
I was under investigation during that whole time, folks.
Wow.
So he was like, yeah, Findy Boy got caught for that. But I didn't get caught. They only had me for like I was only in that at least like 8 hours, bro. Then I got out for it. I wasn't in that for, and they was just asking me a lot of why. Y'all know that shit, bro. About posting on the ground while I was talking about them on my story and all that goofy about the day where I was at. You know that, bro. Goofy, so.
However, to this day, there have been no arrests related to the killing, and this case remains open. It would seem that this murder hurt original 600 members hard, with 600 Breezy opening up to DJ Vlad about how Edai's death had stopped him from feeling safe in Chicago.
Edai is hitting everybody hard right now. Like, because can't nobody really believe it, because Edai was really still in the hood. So Edai, you know what I'm saying, he felt untouchable. He got too much love. He was in everybody's life still every day. He was in all the parties. People go to his house and go play cards, kick it in chills, like a family thing with us, you know? I had like a small untouchable feeling until he died. That was my caption on Instagram. Like I felt untouchable until today, because it was like damn, like, really gone.
Clearly, the death of Edai reignited this feud in the streets. 600 Breezy claimed in a comment under a tribute post for Edai that they stepped on so many Opps to avenge his death. In 2024, Blast His Ass, or as he was now going by in music, 060 Blastem, released the song Can't Slime a Slime, where he also raps on the chorus that after Edai's death, 600 went all in and slid numerous times. If his lyrics are true, clearly 600 were getting back for Edai, aka Cooper. This is also speculated on in the drill community, as fans would comment that people were killed back-to-back after Edai's murder, with members of 600 repeating this supposed score 3-1 on their social media, implying that they had gotten 3 bodies as revenge. However, I haven't been able to find any concrete evidence or specific murders that were actually connected to this incident, but many claim that these bodies are from the so-called East End Gang alliance due to the location where Edai was killed. Ultimately, Edai's death was just the latest loss in a long line of tragedies that was slowly seeing the founding members of 600 disappear one by one, and tragically, he was not the last. In 2021, 600 member Boss Moo would pass away for reasons unrelated to the gang war, but which I decided not to go into in this video. But 2 years later, yet another one of the most prominent early members of 600 would ultimately wind up losing his life in bleak circumstances. Just over 2 years after Edai and Boss Moo's tragic endings, it was shared online that another infamous 600 member, McAdoo, had died inside prison. McAdoo was incarcerated for the double homicide case of 2 women, the MOB-affiliated white girl, real name Janine Dowell, and her friend. While he was awaiting trial, Boss Moo had previously shared pictures of McAdoo from Cook County Jail, claiming, "We gotta get him out." McAdoo had been arrested initially on gun charges, which were then raised to murder, which had the possibility of a 26-year prison sentence. Unfortunately for McAdoo, there was reportedly DNA and video evidence linking him and O-Block member Lil Scud to the crime. But McAdoo would never get the chance to fight these charges, as he would pass away in jail before the trial. However, rather unusually, McAdoo's cause of death seems to be unknown, and many theories have circulated online. Initial reports on social media suggested that it was some kind of OD, with Redditors commenting that the month of September is cursed for 600, considering how many of their prominent members have died during this month over the years. But rumors had spread that his demise may well have been more sinister, with some pointing the finger at the correctional system, with one post circulating, apparently from McAdoo's cousin, calling for justice and saying that Cook County killed him and that they would need to pay. Interestingly, however, following McAdoo's death, some people were happy, but it might not be who you would think, as family members of O-Block's HK would make mysterious posts to Facebook after McAdoo passed, hinting towards the fact that McAdoo left HK behind the day that he died in the shootout in O-Block, with HK's sister at the time making a series of posts insinuating that HK might have been backdoored or betrayed and that he'd still be alive if he didn't hang out with certain people. And she continued posting over the years, inferring that McAdoo was actually involved in HK's death. And after McAdoo died, she went back on Facebook writing, "Long live HK," and that karma had finally gotten hold of someone. Ultimately, this is just one of many examples of loyalties that were at one time a tight bond between gang brothers, ultimately falling apart over the years. And overall, the infighting that has since the early years of 600 been characteristic to them has in recent years only intensified, as there's been numerous fallouts and fighting that's seen Team 600 fall from grace, becoming only a shadow of the beloved Chicago drill crew that it once was.
Let's get it, man.
Considering all the losses
Let's go.
that
Let's see
600
what they
has taken,
doing.
with major members losing their lives and freedom in recent years, it's no surprise then that the narrative of 600 becoming an extinct gang has persisted. Trigger, the brother of D-Thang, who is commonly considered as the original founder of 600, was actually asked this very question in an IG Q&A. Trigger would be somewhat offended by the suggestion that his gang went extinct, calling it a slap in the face, and saying that they now have a few younger members, as well as implying that the existing members are simply focused on making money rather than fame or notoriety. Trigger, who was in prison for much of the drill movement's early years, has also recently teased some of his own music, where he's seemingly taking heavy shots at some members within the original 600, even calling his gang the new 600. OTF-affiliated rappers Buka and Mimo are also still regularly releasing music, although Mimo has since left the label and is now going independent. But this hasn't stopped him from getting major features like Boosie on his tracks and breaking multi-million view counts for his music videos. In a 2023 Say Cheese interview, where he can be seen together with Cap 12, he would explain why he decided to leave OTF, saying that they weren't giving him enough support, but that there's no love lost between him and Lil Durk.
Now, are you still OTF?
No, hell no.
Okay, and this has been like this for what, a year or two?
Yeah, hell yeah. What's about a year?
Yeah. You know, it's like 5 documentaries about why Mimo 600 is no longer a part of OTF. Are these accurate? Do you watch these documentaries?
No, I don't watch that.
You don't watch the YouTube?
I hate that, yeah. I hate that. I swear to God, I hate that shit. Cause how do y'all know all this? How do y'all know this? They say I got robbed, all type of gang. You see my chain, Sean? Scratches on the back, just the same old. I'm still taking shit, you hear me? But it's a lot, I don't go off, but I don't read the documentaries.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to address why, you parted ways with OTF though?
Yeah, I had to do my own thing. I feel like I wasn't supported enough, like 100%. I'm too hot. I got Uzi features. It's a lot of gang that supposed to have been way more than what it was that was swept under the rug and hidden. You feel me? A lot of I really came up off steppers, bro, on my own. Like, bro, them just pushed me. Respect to him for pushing me, but that support wasn't there, gang. I feel like it wasn't there.
I mean, people have speculations about, the chain situation has something to do with it, and
what chain situation?
I guess a chain was stolen or something like that.
I don't know, gang. No, but it was some other though, man, bro. I got the matter of fact, I got the papers. The agreement, far ways type. Yeah, it wasn't no. I don't know. That be the fan. That's why I don't read the blog. All that. Bro got a label, and he trying to build his label, and he got 10 on his label. He can't focus on y'all and build his label at the same time. His mind gonna bust like that. You feel me? So I felt like I should branch off and do my own thing, or at least till it's time to,
Yeah.
Feel me? No love lost, none of that. Just,
However, after Mimo left the label, Booker and him have seemingly gone back and forth on social media, making it seem like the relationship between the two 600 rappers is not what it once was. Booker would also have harsh words for Edai before his death, saying that he and Mimo haven't done enough for 600.
Y'all ain't did enough. Ain't did enough. Boss, Mimo, Edai, y'all ass ain't did enough.
However, after Edai's death, Booker would post a tribute to him, but then later delete it, raising even more questions about what was really going on behind the scenes between Booker and the rest of 600. Other 600 members like Mthang, S-Dot, and 600 Breezy have also dissed Booker, with S-Dot calling him a bitch on Facebook, and Breezy chiming in the comments saying that he wants to box with Booker, something that Mthang seemingly agreed with. Now, Booker would actually respond on Instagram, saying that he wasn't scared of any of them. Breezy would soon respond back, calling Booker broke, before going through his personal finances, seemingly showing that he was doing just fine without OTF.
At 2 in the morning, get your broke ass home. And your bitch throwing subliminals. I got a BMW and a Benz, and I got 30,000 cash fresh out the trap right here with me, 2 in the morning. And I bought my own chains, and I ain't got no boss. Talking about. Got my cat crying.
However, while Booker has seemingly fallen out with most of the original 600 members for whatever reason, McAdoo would tell in his final interview before his sudden passing that Booker and Dirk were the only ones from his old friends who were still helping him out in jail.
And give your folks a shout out who been holding you down since you've been in there.
Yeah, shout out to Booker, man. That's it. No Steve. Shout out to Smirk. That's it. Everybody else, that's my family. I ain't really got nobody else to shout out.
Damn.
Shout out Booker, shout out Lil Dirt, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to the fam,
That's it. Yeah, shout out to the family, that's it. Don't see the rest. Either he has games, don't see grave.
Meanwhile, the alleged veteran shooters of 600, Blast His Ass, aka Blastem, and Cap 12 have both been getting more into the rap game and dropping some quality music, seemingly trying to build up their audiences from the ground up without any major cosigns from more known 600 rappers. Also, S-Dot, who is since the very beginning repping both 600 and his own label 485, is still putting out music to a relatively small but dedicated audience, occasionally still breaking 100k views for his music videos, as well as getting about 60,000 monthly listeners on Spotify with a large discography that goes back more than a decade at this point, perhaps making him the most consistent rapper in 600's history. Now, it appears that the younger members from 600's hood are also making some noise too, but now they claim allegiance to smaller subsets like YRL, ABM, and 059, with the younger members still being seen dropping the fives and wives like their elders did, and some of them would still mention 600 in their social media, and even in music that some of them have been dropping in recent years. The rapper Stu-Wop even has an old picture on his Instagram where he can be seen with Lil Durk as a kid, showing that they've been around the older members for years now. It would appear that although the name 600 is no longer used exclusively by the younger members, there's still certainly a next generation that's part of the 600 lineage. And there's also a considerable number of members that still rep Nico Gang, which was formed after the death of 600 and MOB affiliated Lil Nick, aka Savage Nico, in late 2014. Although Nico Gang members mainly rep the streets 57th to 59th, and particularly 58th, which is why they also go by 8 Block, they also seemingly post on 600's territory often. And some drill fans even claim that Nico Gang are so close with 600 that they're in fact their younger members, like ABM and YRL. Nico Gang has also had several rappers all the way from the mid-2010s, such as Nico Gang Demon Two Tone and Kwani Kwan. But their output has been fairly inconsistent at best, with many drill fans on Reddit debating whether or not this new generation will go down as notorious as the older generation of 600 that included drill legends like LA Capone, Rondo, D-Rose, and C-Day, with most being skeptical and claiming that it doesn't really hit like the original generation, but suggesting that the 600 youngsters still have potential. Many of them have likely experienced the same thing as countless other drill rappers from Chicago in recent times. The competition is fierce in the city, where all the kids are growing up during the golden years of drill, and they're now trying to become like their role models. In today's drill scene, getting any significant views really requires you to stand out from the crowd, but perhaps with time and consistency, and with the right cosigns from the drill legends who are still alive, these younger members could well be only a few songs away from blowing up.
That was a beautiful video, man. Beautiful video. Learned a lot. Learned a lot, seen a lot. You know how I go, man. This Chicago shit crazy, though. Y'all know they just, like I said, bro, they spawn like fish, bro. Like 8 of them get born at a time. They pop out 10 deep one year. Next year, they got 10 more. Like, it's just, they all rap. They all, you know what I mean? It's just a lot, bro. And, you know, Chicago crazy, bro. They always give us a good little video, though. Like I said, y'all, it's June 10th. Give me the 30K subs by July 1st. I got a giveaway for y'all. If y'all missed the details of the giveaways, rewind it back to the beginning of the video after my intro, and you gonna hear it. That's all I gotta say, man. It's Ty Fatty with the Fatty, man. Make sure y'all stay smart, bro. Stay dangerous, and I'm gonna catch y'all next time. I'm gone.